Welcome to another episode of the Weekly InSalt. My name is Wade. It's episode 130. Got dyslexic there for a second. 341. That's a lot of episodes. My name is Wade. I'm here with Chez.
Hey, how's it going?
And the birthday boy of sound, Kurt.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, man.
Yes, happy birthday.
Did you have a good birthday?
Yeah, so far.
Yeah. Nobody died yet?
No. Why
That's
would anybody die on my birthday?
No, man. You have a way.
Do I? Has anybody died on my birthday?
It seems to happen.
I'm sure
every
somebody
year.
has.
I'm
I'm sure a lot of
somebody
people have.
Yeah.
You know what I was going to start off with this week is I think that because we have some listeners outside of the United States, and I think that they always are curious about what it's like inside the United States, especially when you see the news these days. And I'll tell you what it's like. I don't even look at the news anymore because it's just too crazy. It's like, do I really want to see what's going on? But mainly localized areas, it's more about like every week there's a protest at the Capitol. There's like 10,000 people up there over this weekend.
The Utah State Capitol?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy it.
10,000 people?
Yeah.
For what?
I mean, it looked like it, to protest fascism and whatever Trump's doing. The pictures are pretty impressive with how many people were at the Utah State Capitol. 10,000 might be pushing it. But, you know, it's in your best interest as a protest group to kind of pad your numbers a little bit.
Oh, they always pad their numbers. It's probably more like 2,500.
There was more than 2,500, I would say. Let me find the picture again. I mean, there's a lot of people. The funny thing is, though, is maybe I'm just don't know any of my friends that care enough to protest because I never hear about these things before they happen. You know, like I didn't know anything was going on this weekend. There was one shot on here that was like from higher up that gave a good look at it. Oh, there we go. I mean, you can see from like a drone shot that there's quite a few people, but it's like, I mean, the equivalent of you're looking at like a shitty band at USANA.
It's like maybe 6,000.
6,000. Now we're trying to guess like how many jelly beans are in the jar.
Actually, I just saw something interesting about that.
What?
With counting, figuring out the number of like jelly beans in a jar.
I can guess it. Can I try to guess it?
What?
You just count vertically and then horizontally, and then you do your normal area.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, there's an average.
It's called the wisdom of the crowd.
Okay.
So if you take, if you don't let like everybody if you don't have everybody like talking to each other beforehand.
Yeah.
And so you take everybody's guesses and weigh them, like take the average. It's going to be damn close. If you take
you take everybody's numbers. Like say there's a jar full of whatever, and then there's 30 people that guess on that number. You take all of those numbers, add them together.
So the law of averages, basically.
Yeah, divide it by 30, and then that'll give you a number that's really close.
Because you're always going to have those people that are like, oh, yeah, I know. Or they guess way high. And you're always going to have the people that guess really low.
Exactly. They say and then when you weigh them out, it's called the wisdom of the crowd. Mm-hmm. And it's damn close, they say.
Should we try it one day?
Yeah.
Get the rest of those bamboozled jelly beans we never ate and put them in a jar.
I thought we threw those away.
I don't know. They might still be in my cupboard.
All right.
In case anybody wants to eat dirty sock flavored jelly beans again.
So
there was another thing going around. This is something that I think is hilarious, but this is the influence that like TikTok and shit like that has, like doing a video for 1 minute that's totally out of context, right? If you film it correctly and edit it correctly, people just believe it, and it's crazy to me. But I was talking to somebody recently who, let me pull up my notes real quick. I don't know why they're not up already, but shut up. It's not like we've done this 341 times.
We only done 340.
You're right. The podcast. Okay, here we go. So I want you to look up Duende on YouTube or Google for me. It's DUENDE. But there's this lady that kind of went viral in Salt Lake City who
mythical creature.
She lived down in Vegas, and duendes are like a
concept.
Little. They're kind of like leprechaun, right? But they're like an evil spirit that follows you around and like opens and closes your doors and stuff. And I was talking to a friend of mine who's convinced that these duendes now have finally made it to Salt Lake City because a lady on TikTok claimed to be haunted by one in Las Vegas, and she moved to Salt Lake now.
Oh, yeah?
And like to the point where we were hanging out and she's like, I got to get my kids in. It's after dark. The duendes are going to come out. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And you can probably find if you did Duende SLC or something, you'll find the viral TikTok. It's probably at the very top. But yeah, there's supposed to be like oh yeah, there it was. It was in the first image.
This one right here.
Yep. Pretty sure it's this one. Oh, of course not.
Me. Log in. Create an account. Stupid.
Yep, video going viral of a woman saying she found... In Latin American culture, a duende is a dwarf-like goblin.
8 months ago from Vegas, and it's been amazing. However...
She needs a dead cat on her microphone.
My husband
Yeah, she does.
and my son, he's 12, he's almost 13, they have noticed that there has been a weird little gnome. I'm going to sound freaking crazy for saying this.
She look crazy.
She does kind of have that crazy look.
That just apparently runs back and forth and up the things. And I'm like, I have not seen this. And it is weird. So...
There's one thing with all these videos, dude.
And apparently this is not new. I call it a gnome. I don't really know what it's called. It's like a little person.
Duende.
A little, like 2 feet maybe.
I mean, we don't have to watch her
And
vaguely describe
They've
something
seen
that's...
it, like a few times. I'm not, I guess, apparently in tune to see it, so I haven't seen it. But my husband said, like, oh, they like little shiny things, and they like soccer balls and little basketballs and stuff like that. And I'm like, cool. So we have decided to sounds so stupid. We have decided to put out like some pennies, like little shiny pennies for them, and like a tiny little basketball to see if they'll move it or if they'll like love it. And we shall see. I will show you. Okay, so there's our basketball.
It's just a ball in some bushes.
Has not moved since I put it out there. Here's our shiny little pennies, which are still there, but obviously it's rained for the past few days, so maybe little man hasn't come out. I don't know. I will keep you updated when
This is a bunch of bullshit.
decides he, she, whatever they decide to
It's a duende,
come out
dude.
and play. But my husband said that he saw it the first time when he was out here barbecuing. He saw it running
He saw a
the
squirrel.
wall of our neighbors.
Okay,
And
so
then
they're
my
in southern
son
Utah.
Saw it just like right out here, and I'm like, what is going on? What dimension did we fall into that this is an actual thing?
I haven't seen this full video. It's actually more boring than I thought it would be. Oh yeah, now here's the update.
Ball's gone.
The pennies are all stacked.
And this is what happened.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
They're all stacked up
Yeah.
now, dude. The duende stacked the
Guarantee
pennies.
you they did that just for the content.
Yeah.
What a waste of time.
Yeah, they live like in an HOA with like communal backyard stuff.
Dude, if I was a kid and I saw a bunch of pennies, I'd
They'd
probably
be in your
stack 'em.
pocket.
Or they'd be in my pocket. You could call it a duende. It's just your neighbor.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, have you ever had anything weird happen to you that you blame on a duende?
No, I just have a dog.
Yeah.
You're like, I put some pennies outside and I found them in this weird poop-like substance.
Yeah.
He puked him up is what happened.
The other one with all the protesters I've seen is all the people vandalizing Teslas. Like, do these people not realize that
Yeah.
the
That's
Teslas
just
are
stupid.
covered in cameras
Mm-hmm.
and you've now just been recorded?
That's how exciting the duende thing was. Is Chez just thought about protest the whole video.
Yep.
Just right back to it. Yeah, I don't think that vandalizing anything because of a government official is stupid to begin with. Like,
vandalize somebody else's property because you're not a fan of Elon Musk. That's just stupid.
But the scary thing is there's this like really high level brainwashing going on where like people that support either side are convinced that they're just right and that like what they do makes an impact. Like, oh, if I vandalize enough Teslas, it's going to get Elon Musk's attention. He doesn't give a shit.
He does not care.
He doesn't care if you vandalize other people's cars. He's building the shit.
No, I'm getting rid of my Tesla now. It's like, Elon's already got your money.
I will tell you this. My neighbor had a Tesla when he first moved in, and he does not have one anymore. He bought a Rivian.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I haven't talked to him, but I have a feeling it's probably because of when that first happened. Like, I didn't notice when he switched over, but I was telling Kurt this too. That thing always broke down. And the way that Tesla works is you don't go to the dealership. They come to you.
Yeah.
So there's always a Tesla van out there with some poor mechanic fixing this thing like every week. It was changing tires and like, I don't know, replacing batteries probably. It was always out there. I always heard him out there working. I'm like, what are they doing on that Tesla like every 2 days?
That's probably another reason to get rid of it.
Putting some more AA's in.
Yeah.
The steering wheel's 9-volt battery ran out, so you couldn't turn the car anymore. You know, if there's anything that's a duende, they're probably inside Teslas.
Yep.
Let's be honest. That's what, like the little Flintstones running. Keep the car moving.
You just think they're electrical powered. They're duende powered.
Yep. So I'm interested I wonder if anybody from outside of the United States has some cultural stories like that, because duende seems like obviously it's a Latin American thing.
Yeah.
So I'm sure every culture has their own thing.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I mean, when we were kids, we used to go snipe hunting. Remember that?
And even though snipes are true, and they actually are even in Utah.
Yeah, that's true. And we go snipe hunting, but what we would do is just put rocks in a pillowcase and pretend they'd bite us and watch everybody run away.
Exactly.
And then there's like the chupacabra, right?
Yeah. The goat sucker.
Yeah, the chupacabra. What else is there?
That's another Latin America one.
Jackalope.
Yep.
But that's more of like a funny thing, isn't it?
That's a Utah thing, isn't it?
I don't know if it's
it's because it was on the like America's Funnest Home Videos that
oh yeah,
that not Bob Saget did, the other guy did it.
A jackrabbit with antlers often associated with the American West, particularly Wyoming, and is thought to have originated with taxidermists creating taxidermy mounts of the creature. So they would mount.
Originated in Douglas, Wyoming.
Yeah. If you want to laugh, look up the pictures of jackalope.
I guess I did hear something. There actually is a condition where they can, like, jackalope or jackrabbits can grow little.
See, now we're getting into territory that we can't explain.
Little nodular.
Is it true or is it made up for the jackalope myth?
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist, but I do know that the jackalope is not real. Oh, wow. They have all different breeds of jackalopes. The Arctic jackalope.
Oh, yeah.
Greater jackalope.
Do they have a cottontail jackalope?
The Arctic one kind of looks like a cottontail jackalope without the tail. Look at these drawings. They're all like drawn like they're for a children's book.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny. It's fun. I think as a culture we kind of need stuff like that. Maybe that's what we're missing in today's day and age. Is we're too hyper focused on like what's real and what should be happening. Maybe we need to come up with like the mega jackalope myth and start spreading that around so people can worry about something else. One thing that I do find really interesting in relationship to like the protests and people doing their own, I'm using air quotes, research on the internet about political views and other things is that the people that are usually the most extreme and the most into that are the people that have the most free time on their hands to just sit there and read about anything that they want to find.
And then you can find information to back up whatever it is you want to find.
Damn right you can.
If you want to find proof that jackalopes are real on the internet, guess what? You're going to find proof that jackalopes are real on the internet.
Well, I would ask ChatGPT what it thinks about jackalopes, but Google already gave me the information.
Oh, okay.
This is my favorite jackalope right here.
Oh, that's a deer's ass.
Yeah.
I swear, you're in a different part of the internet that I haven't found yet.
Really?
Yeah, you're in like...
That image has been flying around for decades.
I've never seen that before, and I don't know if I want to ever see it again.
So right there, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to say that. That needs to be our thumbnail for the episode.
I can't put that as the thumbnail.
Why not?
We'll get demonetized from all the monetization we don't make.
Exactly. What are they going to do? Make us pay them more?
I don't know. I don't know if anybody would click on that. You know what? It would work better than I think. You know, it'd be like people would be like, "What the hell is that?"
Exactly.
I gotta see what's coming out of that bomb. That's crazy.
Just put that up there. We won't put anything in the episode description about it.
When's the last time you uploaded anything to Instagram? Just do that randomly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Well, the internet's back. And all it took was talking about jackalopes.
Yep.
Did I work for the internet? I know all the corners.
Yeah, you've probably been in some corners that I don't even want to know about. I found a website linked on Reddit the other day that was like a compiled list of like all of the things that you'd ever want to find on the internet, all categorized out. So like it'd have a search engine section. It would list out like every search engine, including stuff on the dark web, which I thought was interesting. And they had a whole giant section of the dark web, and I'm like, I don't think I got a powerful enough router for this.
Yeah.
Have to buy an onion router.
An onion router.
There's nothing really on the dark web that I want to see, though. You know? There's no point in going there.
Exactly.
I don't know. Maybe I could open a scam call center or something. That would be great. Other than, since I have a conscience, I can't do it. Chaz, I know you had something. Hit me with it.
I'm going to give you guys a choice. Do you want to go to Texas or do you want to go to Florida?
Oh, we got to go to Texas first because Florida's crazy.
Yeah, let's save the best for last.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me get this pulled back up here. Man put in coma with a 4% survival chance thanks to ingrown pubic hair.
What?
Put him in a coma?
Yes.
That must have been pretty bad. Well, imagine that ingrown hairs can get infected.
Yeah, so he got infected. Basically,
to staph or MRSA.
Yeah, so basically, internal bleeding, sepsis.
Sepsis will do it.
Double pneumonia. Basically, you name it, he got it. He had to have open heart surgery. 4% chance of survival. They don't like, oh, he's brain dead. He's not going to survive. So his sister's like, no, we're going to let it go. And slowly, this guy started making a recovery, and and basically has made a, basically almost a full recovery now.
Yeah, they didn't have to amputate anything.
Nope.
Well, that's good.
So. It's not that I read there was no amputation, but yeah, open heart surgery.
Let's think about that. So you get in. Let's just say that your ingrown hairs on your face, so that we don't have to talk about the groin area for the next 10 minutes. But how long do you leave that ingrown hair before you realize something's wrong? Because an infection doesn't feel good. You know what I mean? Like if you have we've all gotten a cut before that's gotten infected. It sucks. It turns bright red. It swells up. It gets warm to the touch. So this guy must have been like, I'm not going to the doctor. I'm just going to wait for it to heal itself.
Yeah.
And it just never did. But how long do you wait? Like, he probably waited, like, months.
Yeah, I don't know if it talked about that in the article on how long he waited.
That's like, I don't understand that. Maybe, Kurt, you can help me understand that, too, because people don't go to the doctor. Like,
You don't go to the doctor.
I go to the doctor whenever I get sick. Kurt's sick for,
You don't even go to the fucking dentist.
I have been to the dentist. I go to the doctor. The dentist sucks ass.
I know, I hate going to the dentist.
The dentist is racket. But the doctor, like, you get sick for a week. If I'm sick for longer than 3 days, I'm at the urgent care. But this is what you always tell me. Oh, I'm just going to go in there. They're just going to give me Advil and tell me to go home and charge me $300.
Yeah.
Even though your health insurance, an Instacare visit is like $80.
Bullshit.
Yeah. I've never been charged more than $80 on the Instacare.
Why would I spend $80 for Advil?
Why, if there's something worse, then you get diagnosed with it. You're going to be this guy in a coma because you're like, it'll go away.
It will go away.
Yeah.
My sister just recently had a similar infection. She got an infection. She did the same thing. She waited for like a week. And
now,
then
an
she's
infection is different.
But she also didn't think it was an infection. She's like, it'll go away. It'll go away. And then finally she went to the Instacare and they're like, well, you need to go to the ER. And so she immediately had to go to the ER, get it lanced, and then take an extra week of recovery just because she was like, I don't want to go.
Well,
It's crazy to me.
I know your sister pretty well too.
Yeah. That's what I think happens in these situations, though. Like, I mean, if you're lucky enough to have health insurance or you live in a place where healthcare is free, dude, there's no excuse. Just go, man. It's not worth it, you know?
Well, I mean, for me to go to an Instacare, it cost me $50 just to walk through the door.
copay, yeah.
And then, I don't know how that works, whether you're out of pocket max and all that, your deductible and
It's just 50.
your
So,
doctor fees. And
so you don't like going because you don't understand how it works.
yeah.
Yeah. I can get
And
that.
I don't want to get smacked with a bill.
Oh, I got a bill for the first time I went to this Instacare across the street. I paid my copay. I went in. I think I had I don't know if I should tell everybody what I had. It was a hemorrhoid. Okay, it's embarrassing, but it happens. But I'd never had one before, and it was like right where all the nerves are, right? And so it was a pain. Like coughing would wake me up in the middle of the night. Like it was bad, and so I was like, I don't know if there's something else wrong here. I'm going to the Instacare. It was like $50 to get in. All he did was look at it and was like, cool, you're just going to have to wait for that to work itself out. And he sent me home, right?
They give you a hemorrhoid pillow?
They didn't give me anything. He's like, this is just a life experience that you're about to have, bud.
Yep,
And he sent me home.
And you paid money
And
for that.
$50 to walk in the door. I got a bill for $180. And you know what I did? I called him back and said, I'm paying this. And they said, okay. And they never talked to me again.
What?
I said, my insurance should have covered all of this shit. And they're like, well, this was the remainder. I was like, well, I'm not paying it. And they just, okay. They just wrote it off. Because I'm like, I'm in network.
I'll try that, and we'll see how well it goes.
Yeah, until you get the letter from collections.
The second time I went, no, it's gone. I get my credit report all the time. But the second time I went, it cost me $50 and never got a bill. And I think for that second time I had like it was some cold or something. They gave me some antibiotic. But $50.
Yeah.
The shitty thing is I went and filled the antibiotics and paid a $20 copay for the medication that cost $3.
Yeah.
That's why whenever you go to the pharmacy, you always say, I'm going to pay cash. And then if it's more than $20, you say, never mind, I got insurance. Because if you say I have insurance, they'll just charge you your copay. And then you get a medication for $5 for paying $20.
Well, it also depends.
I mean, insurance. They already know you have insurance.
No, they always ask me when I go in. They're like, billing insurance? Yep. But then I got my antibiotic, and it was $5 if I would have paid cash. Crazy. Insurance.
You can always ask them, what's the insurance price and what's the cash price?
Yeah, and then I heard a rumor that if you ask for insurance versus cash price, they just say, well, are you paying with cash or insurance? And if you say insurance, they're like, it's this much. Because they want you to use insurance, right? This is, in the United States, I think a lot of people agree. Kurt and I have had many long conversations about the racket that is insurance, right? Because it's almost in a doctor's benefit or a pharmacy's benefit to charge your insurance because they can charge a different price. For example, when COVID was around, I was living with the old host of the show, and he came in contact with somebody that had COVID. And this was during the quarantine time, so now we're on the hook. We have to go get the test, right? Went and get the test. He didn't have insurance. So they charged him $100 for the test. My test was totally covered, but they billed my insurance. I got it back. My test was $150 that they billed the insurance for. So they almost would rather you have insurance because they're making more money.
Yeah.
Right? Which, is that fair? I don't think so. But then, you run into problems with the free healthcare system too. Like in Canada, I hear if you need a surgery, it could be months before you can even get in because everybody can just go. Go to the hospital if you're sick. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah.
So, is there Florida one along the same lines as that?
Yeah, it's a little different.
Okay.
So, do we want to go to Florida or do we want to wait till after? I guess we go to Florida now.
After what? After the break?
After the break.
Is it going to be longer than 5 minutes?
Nah, it can be as long as who knows how long we're going to talk about this one.
Fair. The timer's just a suggestion.
So, let's see here. The title of the article here is Trick Love the Kid Street coming to Miami-Dade as rap songs added to county map.
You're going to have to say that again.
So, Trick Love the Kid Street coming to Miami-Dade as rap songs added to county map. So, there's an area in Miami-Dade County that they are changing all of the street names
to rap songs by the Trick Daddy?
No, to like just total random trick like Miami like rappers. Let's see. Let me.
It's a Trick Love the Kids is a catchphrase and street name proposed for renaming streets in Miami-Dade County, inspired by the lyrics of Miami-based hip-hop artist Trick Daddy, as part of a larger initiative to celebrate the city's hip-hop culture.
Yeah, so there's like Peace in the Hood Street, Big Money Baller Street.
Yeah, I wonder who everybody's fighting over that name, right? I live on Big Bunny Baller Street.
Yeah, imagine some little 80-year-old lady who's lived on Sycamore Lane for the last 60 years.
395 Big Money, Money Baller Street.
Yeah. So let me see. Let's see if I can find the whole list of all the names they are. Okay, City Girls Street, Soul Ties Street, Post and Delete Street, Chase Dis Money Street, Born and Raised Street, Big Money Baller,
Yeah,
We the Best Terrace.
I like that one.
Still the Baddest, It's Your Birthday Street.
I kind of like the idea. There's some of them that I don't think the city would ever let you do, like Big Money Baller Street. They'd probably be like, no.
No, these have been approved.
Oh, they've been approved.
These names
Oh,
are actually
geez.
going to be street names.
That's crazy.
Bad Boys Street.
That's just blaring on a loudspeaker the whole time.
Yeah. Welcome to the MIA Terrace. I love LUV, my dogs, DAWGS Street. I deserve it all Street. Closer to my dream street. Tunnel Vision Street. Welcome to my house street. You go girl street. Purple Change Terrace. Lovers and Friends Street. Peace in the Hood Street.
I like Peace in the Hood Street. That'd be a sick street to live on.
Runda Yard Street. No Pain, No Gain Street.
It's just a gym.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a list of the street names coming to Miami-Dade County.
Well, you know what? That's a far cry from the street names we have in Utah. You want to hear some Utah street names? They're all so Utah. When
Okay.
compared to that, like that actually makes Florida street names sound like Florida. You know what I mean? Miami, especially. Let's see. I'm just scrolling through Google Maps, picking out the ones that it actually shows me, because if you don't know, Salt Lake City's on the grid system. So we go by, a lot of people hate it, but downtown Salt Lake City at the Temple is 0-0. And then we have east and west and north and south. And it confuses the hell out of people until you figure out that it's just incrementing and de-incrementing numbers.
Yeah.
But in neighborhoods, the way that we determine, a lot of times the way that street names are determined in a neighborhood is that the builder gets to name the roads that
Yes.
they build the neighborhood. So you get things like Michael Way, or you get things like Sunrise Park Drive. You get Waybridge Lane, Abadale Lane, Kimsboro Road. And if you go to like different neighborhoods, you can tell totally that they're just named by the developer, because sometimes they end up naming them after their kids. Rockland Drive, Bluffside Drive. I bet that's on a bluff. That's probably a really unique name for that. Daybreak Drive, but that obviously if you're in Salt Lake, you know what Daybreak is. Sunbridge, Terra Vista Way. How many times have you heard? There's probably like 12 Terra Vista Ways.
Yeah, because there's Terra Vista Elementary School.
Mm-hmm. Telford Way, Beaumont Drive, and just one here in Rose Park that says Peace in the Hood.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the neighborhood I live in, the streets are all alphabetical.
Yeah, you're you're east of Sugar House. Is that that's not the Avenues is north of the Capitol, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
that confuses me too, because I still don't understand when they start going into the alphabetical letters and then the north and the south. But each city in Utah too kind of does that. You go to a smaller city and it's the same way. There's always like a main street and then like an east and a west of that.
Yeah.
And it gets a little bit confusing when you're traveling through different cities, because like, you know, Provo will have a main street and then all the numbers are related to some landmark in Provo. But you get used to it.
Exactly.
I think that we should do that. We should start an initiative to rename a lot of our street names here into crazy things. Like what? We should just pick Imagine Dragons songs.
Yeah.
'Cause they were from Utah, right?
Yeah, they're from Provo, so...
That's true. Even harder place to start a band is Provo.
Yeah.
There's no venues in Utah Valley.
So we're going to have to go Salt Lake bands. Go Royal Bliss.
Royal Bliss, yeah. Wasn't it used from Salt Lake?
I don't remember.
Let me look. Orem.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other big bands from Salt Lake.
There's been a couple. I think there's like a couple that Neon Trees.
Are they Salt Lake?
Yeah.
I thought they were Provo too.
Well, I'm just looking up Utah.
Oh, okay.
They're from Provo. Yeah. The Osmonds.
Yeah. I think they're Provo.
I mean, one of the bands that was famous from Utah performed today. Tabernacle Choir.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not going to change many street names. There are probably already a lot of street names named after their stuff.
I'm sure. The Moth and the Flame. Oh, they put this Utah Symphony in here, too. And the BYU choirs. So this list, I don't know about this list. Some of these bands I've never even heard of either. All right, let's take a break, and we'll be back with more. And we're back. Episode 341 of the weekly InSalt podcast. The podcast is about to get bought out next month.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's being bought out by InSalt Productions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do we get dividends?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You guys are on the come up, man. You don't even know. It's going to pay out next month. No, we talked about the video editing. I talked about it on the last episode, but that's kind of the reason is the business name is going to change, but the podcast name will stay the same. It's just changing the business to cover more areas because we're getting into filming.
So now it'll be a DBA?
No, it's still going to be LLC, but
you can still...
It'll be owned by... The podcast will be owned by the production company.
Yes, yeah. But then... So it'll be... Yeah, so you'll have the parent name and then it'll be doing business as...
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not registering a second business. I'm just changing this business name to that. But we'll still just use the name.
It'll be a sub business of the primary.
It won't be. It'll just be the same thing. I'm just changing the name. I'm not going to register a whole new business.
Okay.
It's a pain in the ass to do that. Now I got to go down to City Hall and do all that bullshit again. It's not that big of a pain in the ass. It's just doesn't need to be that yet. When the time comes, though, it will be.
Yeah.
Hopefully some of the video stuff we release will tell you guys about, and you can go watch that too. Currently, we're in the middle of the edit right now for all the Dale stuff that we shot, and I've got some pretty cool stuff. I mean, if you stick around long enough, I'll show you, because I can't show you while Kurt's around.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of all keeping it secret for this first. This is the first time that any, like me, Kurt, or Dale have edited a video. So we kind of just do it all in a black box and then see what we all come up with separately, which I think will be cool. Is you feeling better about yours? You said it was kind of like a PowerPoint presentation.
It kind of feels that way, but I mean, I've done better edits in PowerPoint.
Well, the purpose of this is, which I think is cool that you guys want to come along for the ride with that too. The purpose is, I have no idea I'm editing in Adobe Premiere. I have no idea. I've never edited a video in Premiere, maybe a long time ago, but like it matters now. You know, it's changed so much.
I'm actually doing most of mine online.
Oh, really? Yeah. Just asking ChatGPT?
No,
not the clips?
Not that. Just there's like plenty of video editing software available online. You just do it through a website, and then you just download your video as the final product. And so I'm doing a lot with some of that, and then I'll probably throw it into what's that video program? DaVinci Resolve. Yeah, throw it all into that and clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, you're using DaVinci and online. I'm using Premiere. That's the cool thing, is that you're gonna develop different skills than I will. You know what I mean? Like Premiere, dude, it's crazy. If you look at the workspace in Adobe Premiere, there's like a little panel you can click, and there's like production workspace, editing workspace, color correction workspace, effects workspace, music workspace, and I've been through most of them.
Oh yeah,
and it's crazy the depth you can get to. Haven't gone that deep into it because this video is just for practicing purposes, but it's cool to learn something new, you know? And plus, doing the video editing, I talked to my boss at work. We got the same microphone, so we've been kind of talking to each other back and forth about like, oh, you know, I shot this and I used the mics for this and this way, and how have you done it? And just kind of bouncing ideas off each other, and it's kind of cool to get into that world. But boy, you know, the podcast, take for granted how easy it is sometimes because I just have one audio file that's very minimally edited because of all the hardware we have. But when we went and shot the B-roll with Dale, just like all the extra clips we needed, there was times where I was filming where I forgot to plug in the microphone receiver, so my phone didn't take any audio, you know, and then you don't realize that until you're done for the day. You feel really good at the shoot. You're like, I think I've got everything I need. I can't think of anything else. Maybe we'll do a couple extra shots just in case. And then you get home and I realized that, like, you know, maybe a quarter of the shots didn't have any audio. And it's like crap. Or, you know, like if you shoot in slow motion, you generally don't record audio because why, you know? Like all those slow-mo guys' YouTube channels and stuff, and all the slow motion stuff on YouTube, the editor puts in all those sounds that sound all cool, like squishy sounds if it's like water flying in the air. That's not audio recorded from a slow motion video clip. That's edited audio that somebody had to put in the timeline at the right place to make the sound correlate with the video. So when you watch it and you're like, whoa, that sounds so cool, it looks so cool. The sound's totally different from the video sound that you're seeing. Like those Phantom cameras, they don't record sound.
No.
They just record, you know, thousands of frames per second. That's all
I'd
they're
love to
designed
have
to
a
do.
Phantom camera, but I don't want to pay the $40,000 that they cost.
What would you film with a Phantom camera? Just everything?
Everything that I could.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd be throwing eggs against my wall.
You just turn into, what's that YouTube channel with the eggs?
Oh, How to Basic?
How to Basic. Yeah, go down that rabbit hole. Look up How to Basic.
Yeah.
That's such a good idea for a YouTube channel. Like, it's so dumb, but
Yeah.
it can't be cheap.
No.
I wonder if he switched from eggs.
No, he's still doing it.
And that's why we have an egg shortage, honestly.
Goes through like 50 dozen eggs.
Yeah, but hopefully we'll get some videos for you soon. And if you stick around, give you a sneak peek.
Yeah.
Ches. But I was looking up some local things and stumbled across something on the Salt Lake City subreddit. Somebody reminiscing about the old days, and it made me kind of laugh because this Century Theaters back in the day. Kurt and I were talking about this. When you went to a movie back in the day, it was like an event. You know what I mean? Same thing with like music. If you played music on a record player back in the day, like you sat around and you listened to the album, you know? Nowadays with the internet and video on our phones, it's less of a like ritual and more of a, I don't know, I'll just listen to this one song I want to hear right now.
Yeah.
Or I'll watch this one video I want right now. But they used to build movie theaters kind of like they did normal theaters, right? And they started building them in domes. And so where Century Theaters is on 33rd, that used to be a big dome. They built one of them. I think it was called, I've got it up here. I think it was called like Century Theaters or something.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. It was still a Century.
Yeah, I think that it was Century, and then it started becoming really popular. And so funny thing in business is that when you're in business, you're like, oh, dude, we built one of these domes. It's killing it. What should we do? Oh, let's buy the plot of land across the street, and we'll build another dome. But the great thing about business, too, is you don't really think about how that markets itself. And if you look at it on the map, everybody started calling them the boobs. Because it looks like two boobs.
They look like big old boobs.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing for the Cinedome up in Riverdale.
Yeah. They built the second one.
Yeah, that's... well, no, they just built two of them. There's one building with two attached boobies. And that's the one that I always went to as a kid. And they were nice. Like, they were luxurious.
Yeah.
Like you had to dress nice just to walk through the door.
Yeah.
Like you look at, there's some pictures online. You can Google when Salt Lake had a domed movie theaters known as the Boobs. And then you'll find it. But they show an interior picture. It's black and white photo. And like the theaters that we go to today, like the IMAX theaters, are like puny in comparison to the room you're in for these theaters.
Dude.
These are huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cinedome was massive.
And they didn't have like, I'm looking at the picture, it doesn't have the shitty front row seat where like nobody sits in because you're so close. Like they actually gave enough space with the dome construction that you can sit further back. You're not like right there staring straight up, kinking your neck. Although I got to admit, they don't have heated seats, you know, in the dome. They look pretty uncomfortable seats, honestly, like standard seating in a church or something.
Some of the movies that I saw at the Cinedome in Riverdale was here's a image of that thing.
This is funny because it looks just like boobs.
Oh, God damn
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw,
They even had to do the antennas on top.
Little nipples.
Little nipples.
yeah, I saw E.T.
You saw
there.
E.T. there, yeah.
I saw Return of the Jedi there,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw the first Jurassic Park.
First, did you watch any Indiana Jones there?
No.
Was that too early?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Let's say, well,
Oh, look at the first comment on that Facebook post, Star Wars.
Yep.
You're not the only one that remembers that. I mean, dollar theaters are a thing of the past now, aren't they? Is there still dollar theaters around?
I don't know.
I know the one in Sandy closed a few years ago.
I
Probably
used
more
to
than
go
a
there for
couple.
Tightwad Tuesday.
Yeah.
You get in for a couple bucks or something.
Sandy's
So you have to go in
Movies
before
9.
5.
Actually, I remember when Sandy's Movie 9 was the nice theater to
Yeah.
go to.
Yeah, that was.
Actually,
Yeah.
I even remember when Sandy's Movie 7.
Ooh, that's crazy.
And they expanded, they built 2 new giant screens and became Sandy's Movie 9.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's funny that movie theaters, they just stuck with the number thing, like Century 12 or Century 16.
And that was how many theaters they had.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
And these were eventually, the ones on 33rd were eventually demolished because they built that new Century, I think it's Century 16 on 33rd.
it's a 16.
And they were demolished to make room for the parking lot for that building. So,
And if I remember right, I think they were brown.
yeah, I can't tell in these pictures. They
Yeah,
did highlight 33rd.
Yeah, the Cinedome went out of business, and they shut down, and then they sold the land to a car dealership. It's pretty sad.
Excuse me. Yeah, there's some other pictures on Cinema Treasures of this. Century 21 is what it was called. It opened on October 20th, 1967. Had 985 seats and an 80-foot-long curved screen, the second largest in Utah at the time. The theater's dome ceiling was 155 feet high. And then in 1969, a duplicate building, Century 22, was built across the street from the original only a few years after they opened. Both buildings fell victim to the trend of splitting large theaters. In the late 1980s or early 1990s, 4 small square theaters were added onto the Century 22 building, but the theaters were not maintained well, and severe water damage forced the permanent closing of Century 21 screens. In 1998, both buildings were demolished, so the space could be used as a parking lot for the all-new THX Century 16 theaters. Remember the THX logo?
Yep.
The intro sound?
Yeah, that was.
And then you said, so it was the second largest screen, right?
It was the second in Utah, yeah. I wonder what the first was.
It was either the Villa or it was up there on right off a foothill in like I-80.
Dude, looking at the history stuff, I mean, we've done a few things with this channel, and just like more recently with our off-roading drives and random weekend drives, going to see historic stuff. It's cool. It's been a lot of fun to learn more about the history of Utah. And then you get to hear cool stories. Like the first comment on this is like, going to see a movie such as Towering Inferno in the summer of 1975 was a treat. In Century 21 and that huge curved screen. Then I saw Tommy the Age of 22, and the 23 being the other side was split for a twin. Finally, the last one I saw was Star Wars or Star Trek. But unfortunately, a very uneventful experience was experienced. That's weird. So maybe not all of the history's great.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, what was the name of that theater there on off a foothill?
Let's see if we can Google our way out of this.
Oh.
Foothill Music Theater. No, this is like a new one. Gillette Theaters. No, I don't know. Foothill Entertainments. Is the movie theater still there near 21st and Foothill? It's called the Regency. Now an office building, as I recall. Is there a movie theater still near 21st and Foothill? I was a sophomore at Highland, worked there as an usher, saw the Close Encounters of the Third Kind 428 times.
Yeah, I thought they had some other name for it that everyone called it.
Maybe. The thing that kind of is interesting, though, is like when they built them, they probably were like, oh, let's just add another theater, make it exactly the same. But then it gets a nickname as the Boobs, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, the Boobs. We're going to go watch a movie in the Boobs. And so it got me thinking, like, what are some other things that are funny about branding? And one thing that came to mind is when you're a multinational company, right? Like you have locations in an area that speaks a different language.
Yeah.
How the brand names can get
yeah.
misconstrued. There was some of these are really funny. Like IKEA had a workbench that they named, and when IKEA are kind of well known for funny sounding Swedish furniture models. They don't tend to translate these into foreign markets because the Swedish background is a big part of their brand identity. But it doesn't say where this. Oh, one of the selling points of this handy workbench was wheels for easy maneuvering, a feature IKEA clearly considered when naming it the Fartful workbench. And that's how it translated to English. Fartful.
I found a picture of those oil chandeliers.
Oh yeah.
They're not as it's not as cool, but it is after it closed. That's them right there.
Oh really?
Oh.
Huh. So would the oil run down like that big long thing?
No, that was the pump that took the oil up.
Yeah.
And then you can't see it in this picture, but there's like probably
the wires go around the outside.
70 cables that are attached to the rims.
Yeah.
Of this that go up, and then the oil ran down the cables.
Google dripping oil lamp, and then that's what I remember. But I bet those were cool, dude. That big.
Yeah, they were cool. The lighting on them was, you look at them, I think that's really.
Because the light would it be from the bottom or the top?
So the light was inside
in
here,
the bottom,
and then they would shine up. Yeah, so you'd see the light reflecting off the oil.
Dude, that was like fancy as shit back then, you know?
Yeah, it was luxurious.
That's awesome. But these oil lamps, I'm gonna try to make one. I think it'd be cool. It's too bad we can't both be connected to that screen up there. That'd make life easier. The first YouTube video that comes up is Jerry's drip lamp. I think you could have come up with a better title. But they usually had like a little statuette in the middle and then little wires around the side that then the light would shine on the oil that would drip from the top. What year were they popular? I guess that was back in the 70s.
70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
I think you said it was this. Remind me again real quick. You said the IKEA thing, it was fart what?
The name of it was IKEA's Fartful workbench.
Because I know fart is speed. This probably like speedy workbench.
Oh yeah, speedy work. Yeah, fart. That's funny. Gerber made a mistake too. They declined to use a localized translation service and didn't notice that Gerber resembles a French slang word close to meaning to vomit. So Gerber baby food, to vomit baby food.
Well, and then in the Chevy Nova.
Oh, I think
in Latin American countries, you know what Nova means, right?
Mm-mm.
No go.
Oh, that's funny. No go. Mercedes decided on a full name change for their Chinese launch. They went with the name Benzi, obviously without considering local translators, because why would you? It turned out that translates to rush to die. Oh, man. Pepsi made a mistake. I think every KFC's done it. Pepsi, let's see. They managed to translate the slogan, Pepsi brings you back to life, into Mandarin as Pepsi brings your ancestors back from the grave. That's crazy marketing, dude. KFC translated their signature slogan, finger licking good, into eat your fingers in Chinese. Ford, they took their Pinto model to Brazil without considering the fact that Pinto is slang for small penis. Oh, that's funny. I wonder if there's a weird correlation between that and people with big trucks.
Yeah.
the Mitsubishi Pajero wasn't so popular in the European market since it translates to wanker in Spanish. American Dairy Association, their famous Got Milk campaign. This is good. American Dairy Association decided to take their message global by rather invasively asking Spanish speakers, "Are you lactating?" Mazda, Honda, everybody felt McDonald's. What could be tastier than a confused? It's what McDonald's almost called their French Big Mac. It was translated to Big Pimp. Colgate. Let's see. American Airlines fly. The Spanish translation left little to be desired, as "fly in leather" was translated to "fly naked." Oh man, those are fun to go through. You can Google those and read those all day long. Dude, we should. I mean, what's the This Is a Place podcast? They do a lot of old history stuff.
Yeah.
So check them out. Shout out to them. Go listen to their stuff. I don't know if they've posted in a while or not.
Yeah, they post
That's good.
Really regularly, because I get the notifications when they post. So
I haven't had my finger on the podcast pulse for a minute, but let's pull it up really quick.
I got it right here.
They're going through the same thing that like we're struggling with. Their latest post is that they're going on a hiatus.
Oh, I didn't see that. So,
but they do like the Hale Center Theater. They already did a post about the Lagoon Zoo going away. Pizza places.
Lagoon's putting in a bunch of new rides, but they're all stupid.
Are they kids rides?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They're not kids rides, but they're doing a lot of work in Pioneer Village.
Oh, good. They needed to, because that's like a place where nobody really goes anymore.
Yeah, you know, when you first walk into Pioneer Village, there's that stupid fountain that was right there off to the left.
Yeah.
And there's the coin museum.
Mm-hmm.
So the coin museum's still there. There's that gift shop that used to be that shooting range.
Yeah.
But all that's gone.
Did they keep all the other historical stuff, like all the old weapons and stuff that were in there?
I don't know.
I hope they did.
Yeah,
I'd still walk through that and enjoy it.
Yeah, they're putting in some stupid, dumb little twirly rides.
If you think about it, they really haven't focused on like the kiddie rides. There's still stuff that is there from when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, but they've put in quite a bit more.
That's cool. Yeah, they have put in a lot more. Of
like they got rid of that mini golf course and put in a bunch of kids rides there.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see what they did with the whole area where the log flume was, but maybe I just don't remember where it was.
I think they got rid of the log flume.
Yeah, they did. They did, but I don't know what they did with the space.
Put in more stupid rides.
It's no fun unless it's the cannibal.
Well, yeah, put in some good stuff.
So I got something for you. Yeah, you think they should. They should do like Cannibal 2 and just make it like everything's more exaggerated.
Cannibal re-eaten?
Yeah.
Cannibal regurgitated.
So yeah, the Cannibal's probably their best ride.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Closely followed by Colossus.
Well, they put in that new one. What's it called? Primordial.
Yeah.
I saw the video of it.
Yeah, it's not...
It looks...
I mean, I'd give it a go maybe once, but just...
The innovation for that ride is the correlation between technology and the car, you know, because they have like a little...
Interactive.
Yeah, it's interactive. Yeah, without spoiling it.
But I don't know. I don't know if I can go back there anymore. It's like $120 to get in there now for one day.
Yeah.
And $50 to park.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could do it for one day.
I don't know. I mean,
have to take a middle of the week off, like
we'd have to
Tuesday or Wednesday.
It'd be cheaper to take an Uber up there.
Yeah, probably get dropped off at the gate.
Dropped off, yeah.
Well,
instead of having to park.
Take an Uber or drive halfway and then take an Uber the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Just park at the Burger King or something.
Yeah. But, I mean, I still think that Laguna is a super underrated amusement park because they let you bring in alcohol still.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, no amusement park lets you do that.
Well, they say no glass, so...
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't want glass in there either. You'd be sweeping that up all day.
You have to wait till like your company Lagoon Day or something.
Well, even that's expensive. Like,
yeah.
I think I overheard that my company, we used to do it. And they didn't do it anymore. They stopped. They did it last year.
Yeah,
because I heard it was like $350,000 to get tickets for all of.
How much is a season
Wow.
pass now? Let's look it up.
It's probably more than we want to spend.
I remember as a kid, I'd go to Lagoon and season passes were less than $100, like $80 for a season pass or something.
Yeah.
$90. Oh, sorry, it's a season passport. Did you or anyone for whom you're purchasing have? Oh, it's asking me a bunch of questions. I don't want to answer all these. Oh, dang, dude. Preseason discount available online only, $210.95 plus tax and fees.
If I'm paying that, then I'm committing to going like 3 times a month.
So that was the preseason. So it's now $227.95. So it only saved you $17 if you buy it in advance.
It's still $211.
It's $210.95, but like normal is $227. But it's also like right close to when they're opening. They're about to open again, so I'm sure if you bought this at the beginning of winter, you might have got a better discount.
Oh yeah. That $210 goes till June 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
So then it goes up $17.
Yeah, I almost qualify for the senior season passport.
Yeah.
Almost.
You know what's crazy though? I was just looking at that. 65 to 74 years old, they still charge you $100. And then 75 plus, you can finally get in for $50
For a season?
for just for the season passport.
Oh wait, no, I'm not close at all. Jesus.
Yeah, 65 to
It's older
74.
than I thought.
I wonder if there's just regular discount tickets. I don't know. Probably not.
You still get the discount with a can of Coke.
Oh, regular day pass is $94.95. And then tickets for 65 to 74 is $89.95, and then
Still.
75. Oh, youth passes.
Still $100 to get in there. I mean, I guess we paid that 2 years ago, kind of, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
It was usually around here.
We need to go this year because we didn't go last year.
Well, I think it's
we
because
paid
usually at
before.
your work you would get
Yeah.
the tickets. Like a lot of businesses do that. They get little work parties at Lagoon because they have those giant pavilions that you can like rent out and stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then they can cook food. They cook food for you too, cater.
But we should go.
I'm always down. I had one more thing, but I don't know if it's going to be 4 minutes.
Use a PTO day.
Dude, that's the best way. We have it down to a science. If you're an adult that's above 30, then you should probably just do what we do. Because don't do anything else. Don't question it, because it works perfect every time. You're an adult, so wake up early. And while, everybody else is getting their 12 kids ready to go to Lagoon, they'll get there by like noon or 1 p.m. You get there right when they open, wheel your cooler full of beer to the pavilion, slam a couple beers, go hit the cannibal, and just get right back in line. And do that like 5 or 6 times, because that's what you want to ride anyway. You don't really care about the other rides.
Until you puke.
And then once it gets too busy and the cannibal line gets too long, then you just go enjoy all the other rides. You go to the Colossus, you hit the white roller coaster and file a whiplash claim against your insurance. And then you go ride like the swings or whatever.
I went to Lagoon last year for our company day. I was there, took my nephew and we were there right when it opened, and we rode Cannibal twice in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
Cannibal's the best ride there too. I love the fact, I wish Laura was here for this, but I love the fact that
that shit broke
that
down.
it broke down when we were next in line.
Oh,
we
really?
were standing at the gate. We were in the chute basically, and like all of a sudden they just stopped, and there was still a car yet to come in to the platform with people on it, and we're looking up at the control area up there, and all of a sudden all these
volcano.
yeah, all of a sudden these people start showing up. There's like first it's 2 young kids running it, right, and then a little bit older kid comes, and a little bit older, and then eventually there's like a fully grown adult there wearing a black shirt. So you're like, oh shit, this can't be good. And then they come over the intercom and they're like, we're just having some technical difficulties. And Laura's already scared to death. She's been building up. You know how roller coasters work. The anticipation builds and builds. And she's standing at the gate to get on. And she's like, I don't want to do it anymore. It's broken down. Like, I can't go on this. So like, I'm scared to death. And it takes them probably like 30 minutes. And then they open the gate. First, they let the other car come in, which was kind of weird. We're seeing the people just sitting out there forever. It was kind of a hot day. So they were just baking out there. They come in and there's people crying on the ride thinking that they're never going to get off of it. And it's like, come on, guys.
I wonder if there are people stuck in the elevator going up.
No, what happened is that this is going to sound so dumb, and it's going to make you never trust roller coasters again. But the thing that sends a signal to the control room that there's a that the car has reached the top of the elevator is connected by Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi went down.
Yep. Like, why you wouldn't run fiber for that?
Yeah. Or at least run an Ethernet cable.
Yeah, you can't do Ethernet.
Oh, because it's too long.
It's too, the distance is too long.
But it's connected over Wi-Fi, so this poor kid, like, there's obviously, like, the ride director
that
out there.
fat kid that
They
had to
send
hike
this
all the way
chubby
up.
kid up those stairs, dude. And I was like, you're not going to send somebody with a little more speed? Like, that poor kid, number one, he didn't want to do it. You could tell as soon as they told him, like, you got to run up there. He was like, oh, shit. He came down looking like he'd been to Vietnam, dude.
Yeah.
It was like 100 degrees out. There is airflow in that elevator, but when you're walking up those stairs, it probably doesn't feel like it.
Oh,
He came back looking like he saw some shit. Like he'd been to war and back. They're probably like, go take a break, man.
Yeah.
Go drink some water.
All right. We'll pay for the rest of the day. You can go home.
I kind of was jealous for Laura because I felt like she got a better ride experience than I did, like, the first time. I wish it would have broke down and just built that anticipation even more. But it didn't happen.
But yeah, once you've ridden it once or twice, it's like, okay, whatever. It's not.
I still think it's awesome every time, dude.
Oh, yeah. It's still great.
Yeah. The anticipation doesn't get me, but usually now what we do is Kurt and I will start messing with the little kids. Like, been on it before? No. Oh, man. You're in for a treat. Like, and then sometimes you can tell when a kid's really scared. You're like, dude, it's fine. Like, dude, if I'm going on this, nothing's going to happen. Like, my fat ass isn't going to fall out of this.
Yeah, I was one of the times we rode it last year. There was a kid that was his first time riding it, with his dad, and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be great, man. It's gonna be fun. And the kid had a great time on it, and it's like, all right, yeah, we can go again.
Yeah. We've sat next to a couple kids who are like, never been on it before. I'm like, you'll be all right. I'm like, it is a little bit scary, but you're super brave, for doing it. And then when you go up the elevator, they're just like, ugh, like their whole body's tensed up. And it's just such a perfect roller coaster, man. The door comes up, and then it pushes you forward like you're going to drop, but then it stops you. So you get to sit there and realize how high you are and what your life choices were to get to this point.
And it's still not even really a very high roller coaster.
But it just feels high, Like, I don't know. It's like low enough that it's scary, but not high enough to feel like you're in an airplane. Because you don't really feel like you're super high in the air in an airplane. When you look out the window, it kind of looks like the Google Maps layer,
And then you ride it 5 more times and puke out your beer and Arby's.
Yep.
I've never been on a roller coaster. That's funny. I've never. Why is it like that's the only good place to eat at Lagoon is that Arby's, dude?
The beer garden's good.
The beer garden is good.
It's expensive.
Way expensive.
Yes, but it's good.
Yeah, if you want like actual food. But it's not why you go to Lagoon. You eat that Arby's, dude. And that Arby's, to this day, I still think is the best Arby's in Utah.
Yeah, I think so.
Because, I'll tell you why.
They have the meats.
They got the meats, and actually they don't because it's like a smaller menu. I think it's just roast beef sandwiches and beef and cheddars or something. There's not like a ton of options. But they're going through it. You know what I mean? They don't have like the vacuum sealed thing of roast beef in the fridge for 3 weeks. Like, they're going through that meat so fast because everybody's going to that Arby's.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we should do, man. We need to open a McDonald's in Lagoon.
Yeah.
We'll probably never make any money.
You can DoorDash it.
DoorDash McDonald's to Lagoon.
Your Arby's out of Lagoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you could to your table.
Probably not. Did you hear what DoorDash is doing now?
Oh, yeah. I forgot you had this thing about it.
Oh, yeah. I think I've heard this. Is this the buy now, pay later?
Oh, God.
No way.
Yeah, they teamed up with a company called Klarna, which allows them to, you can buy your meal and then pay
Afterpay.
and then pay in 4 easy payments. Like how ghetto is that?
I'm reading about this right now.
Yeah, if you're so damn broke that you have to finance your McDonald's, then you shouldn't be.
Add your items to the cart. Select Afterpay as the payment option at checkout. Sign up or use your existing Afterpay account. Once approved, your DoorDasher will dispatch your order.
Yeah, and now you're in debt for the.
Is there any interest on the amount paid? No. There's no interest payable by you. What are other terms and conditions? Oh, let's check this out.
Now you're in debt for the Jersey Mike sub that you just smashed into your face hole.
Well, they could be doing this as a precursor to entry into another market where, like, you can now DoorDash things from Best Buy or something.
No, I think they're just trying to get people in debt.
Well, I mean, first of all, if you're broke, you shouldn't be using DoorDash or Grubhub anyway because the service fees are going to get you. Like, Jersey Mike's, you should jump on there. We did it, I think, one episode, but Jersey Mike's, you get their Philly cheesesteak sandwich on DoorDash. I think that's going to cost you like $13. And then you go and customize it. You put it in your cart with the delivery and fees and everything. You're paying $30 for a sandwich. Crazy. I think we did it that one day with McDonald's to see the difference.
Well, yeah, and not only that, but they mark up the price of the food from regular menu price. So not only are you paying upcharge on your food, you're paying a delivery fee, you're paying an administrative fee, you're paying a contingency fee, you're paying all these fees, and then you have to tip the driver.
Yep.
And so you've paid pretty much twice just for that convenience.
I'm looking
it's
through
so not worth it.
I'm looking through their agreement here to see what happens if you don't pay.
It's one of those. It's
your credit.
They probably will.
It's probably one of those. It's like they're just automatically going to deduct it from your account.
Probably. Arbitration will. Oh, of course, they were based in San Francisco, like all good tech businesses. Dispute resolution. I can't tell, but how Afterpay works, they're not going to tell you what happens if you don't pay. You can pay over 6 weeks. Get everything you need now. This is the marketing that gets you. Get everything you need now. Shop thousands of brands, millions of products. Pay it over 6 weeks. Make the first payment up front and the rest over time. Always interest free when you pay it in 4 weeks. So if you do the 6 weeks, you're paying interest. No fees when you pay on time. Oh, that's how they get you. You'll forget that you did Afterpay, and then they'll charge you like a $25 fee or something. Or a fee based on the amount of your purchase.
What a waste of time.
Oh, it's basically a small-time credit hustle, because this says available to spend in your wallet. The screenshot is pay in 4 weeks. You have been authorized to spend $1,500. So it's like a no credit check credit card. It's giving me payday loan vibes. You know what I mean? Seems like I'm just gonna go out and say it. You heard it here first. Don't use it. That's a bad idea. If you don't have the money, don't buy it.
Yeah.
Just like with anything. And there's people that swear by this. And one of my friends gets a lot of band equipment. And he uses this to get stuff. And it's like he's like, I'll pay it over the next like 6 months or whatever, dude. It's cheaper. You can get anything like that. It's like, no, I'm not trying to get more recurring bills every month, dude. I'll buy it when I have the money. This is a really dangerous thing for people.
I say, if you've got the money and they're going to offer it to you for 0 interest, then maybe.
But then if you got the money, just go buy it. Like, don't get into a situation
you can also
where...
be, interest rates are so shit anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're earning some good money,
I think
maybe.
That's the problem with today is if, like, you don't have money, don't buy it.
Exactly. I'm just talking if you've got the money.
Yeah, if you got the money, I mean, do whatever you want with your money. But
I mean, when I bought my first motorcycle, I had the money to pay cash.
Me too.
But they were offering... it was 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 6 months.
See, now you're getting into like credit building techniques, right? Like if you have bad credit and you've got the cash, then it'd be better to finance as long as you're disciplined enough to make your payments on time.
Yeah, so
to build your credit.
So I said, okay, I'll take that. And then 5 months later, I just paid off the motorcycle. I'm like, all right, fine. I'll earn interest on the money I've already got set aside to buy this thing today in cash.
Totally. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
People just aren't that responsible these days, though. Like, and it's because of things like this. Like, imagine being an 18-year-old kid again. I made a lot of dumb decisions when I was 18, right? Like, I think when I was like 22, I got my credit card. That was bad because you see that number like, oh, dude, I got approved for 20 grand. Like, I got money to spend. No, you don't. Or you see that TikTok from that lady explaining to her daughter about the credit card that she opened, and the daughter's like, well, I don't understand why they're telling me I have to pay this. I already paid for it. And the mom's like, well, you got a credit card. You paid for it on credit card. So you still have to pay the credit card bill. And she's like, I already swiped the card. It's paid for. She literally had no concept of
having to pay the credit
borrowing
card
money. Yeah. She didn't know she was borrowing money. She thought it was just like a debit card.
No.
Yeah, we're going to leave you this card. We're just going to give you $20,000.
Yeah. No. But like, imagine seeing Afterpay shit like this when you're a kid and you're struggling through like college, right? I'll just get Afterpay, and if I can get like that $1,500, then I can just go get all the things I need. But then inevitably, what's going to happen? Your first bill's that's how credit cards get you. They'll approve you for $20,000, and if you maintain it, pay it off every month or whatever, it's not a big deal. Or if you have a low monthly fee, but if you spend that $20, it's going to easily outpace your income. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to pay that $600 a month payment.
Well, and that's my thing is, DoorDash is teaming up with this company to allow this. And then, you know how many people are going to go into massive debt?
Tons.
Because they don't have the money to pay for their fucking sandwich. So they're going to do it. And then, 4 or 5 hours later, they're going to be like, I'm hungry again. I'm going to DoorDash some more food.
Yeah, that's the...
And then the next day and the next day. Next thing you know, you've got a $200 bill that you owe.
Yep. That's the problem with Afterpay is that's where the scumbagginess comes in.
And you've spent your whole goddamn paycheck
before you even got it. Payday loan, man.
Yep.
Come in, just show us your pay stub, and we'll give you the money right now. But then in 2 weeks, when you've spent that money, you can't catch up because your whole paycheck goes to that company. Yeah. And I think they've done studies on this that if they get rid of it, people will become homeless.
It's another reason why I hate DoorDash.
Yeah. Well, I'd hate Afterpay for that too. DoorDash is blatantly taking advantage of people's laziness, and everybody just seems to be okay with it. Mm-hmm. And I'll admit, I've used DoorDash. I've used it for I've got a meeting and I've got an hour in between meetings, so I'll just order lunch and then I can go grab it and at least have a half an hour to eat.
I will eat dry ass ramen out of my pantry before I order anything from DoorDash.
Yeah, it is very convenient, but you're going to pay for that convenience. Yep. It's just like if you go buy a gallon of milk at 7-Eleven, it's going to cost you way more than if you go to the grocery store.
I'll eat pre-cooked rice.
Just crunching away on the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, spend your money wisely. Don't get involved in scams. That's why I can never work for
DoorDash is a scam as in general.
I mean, yeah. It's the same thing as ordering a pizza to your door. They still charge a delivery fee.
Well, they do, but it's, yeah.
It sucks, but it's
stupid.
That's the way I look at it. I look at it as like a nice thing to do for yourself occasionally, not a thing that you should rely on.
I understand the delivery, behind the whole pizza thing.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza, then delivery, tip your driver.
Yeah,
but DoorDash, they upcharge the food.
Yeah,
they upcharge the food.
Then they add a fee,
and then they add a fee, and then tip the driver, and still you're paying more than you should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even if you do pickup off of DoorDash, I don't think it's the same prices as if you just go to the restaurant. And if you switch between delivery and pickup, you can watch the prices on the menu change, and it notifies you. It says prices are higher when you choose delivery or whatever.
Me and my brother, we were going to order some food off of Chipotle, and I'm like, let's just DoorDash it or do delivery or whatever. And I was looking at it, and I think it wasn't through DoorDash. It was actually on Chipotle's website.
Well, a lot of companies now, they say Chipotle delivers, and then they just offload it to Grubhub or DoorDash.
Well, they
anyway.
do. They'll just they'll have somebody else deliver it, but. You compare the menu prices of delivery versus pickup, and it's more on the delivery.
Yeah.
So, like, Chipotle is deliberately hiking up the prices just for having it delivered, and they're not doing the delivery. Somebody else is. Yeah,
and that's because they have to pay that service to deliver their food for them, Like,
it's a scam.
They're just passing on their additional cost to you, and you're okay, and everybody's okay with it.
Yeah, whatever happened to the whole concept
Chinese takeout, dude.
Spend money to make money. No, right. let's just go into business and take all of our overhead and pass it on to the customer.
Yeah, that's why you see those signs at businesses that say 3% additional charge if you run your card, because they're passing on their merchant fees that they have to pay to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And by the way, this is interesting to talk about, because last night Kurt and I saw the opposite end of DoorDash. We saw what happens when you're that asshole sitting at home at 11 o'clock at night and you order like 40 wings. There's somebody on the other end of DoorDash that's now got to handle that. And we were at Charlie Wing Company last night at like 11 o'clock, and they've got a separate iPad that handles just their DoorDash and whatever orders, like Grubhub. And the waitress goes, "Oh shit, you got to come look at this. You got to come look at this." And she's just scrolling this huge order, and it was 11 o'clock. Like, the kitchen usually closes at 11. And they just got it.
Like, oh.
So then they're all cleaning up. They're cleaning everything
up.
Extra
spit in your food.
Yeah, right. And I mean, there's places like Cafe Rio and those in Chipotle. A lot of times they'll have one kitchen set up for their customers that go to the restaurant, and then a totally separate one in the back that's for like DoorDash. That's where you started getting those inconsistencies that went viral for Chipotle. Like, if you order on DoorDash a burrito bowl, you get half of what you get if you just go in there. It's because you're not sitting there watching them make it. You're ordering it online. They just throw it together and then they send it out the door. You know, the quality control doesn't exist because good old Loophole, our buddy Loophole, Mr. Loophole himself. He's gotten more free food off of DoorDash. He'll order something, and if they forget one thing, he'll call DoorDash and bitch at them until they refund it. So much so that they've been refusing to refund him.
Oh, good.
You remember him telling that story? I didn't get my Arby's sauce and I called them up. Now they want to argue with me. It's like, because every time you order, you argue with them.
Because they have a record of everything that you've done.
Refunded they probably pull up his account and it looks like a rap sheet. It's just like, called and ordered, refunded his food. Or they'll send him, a totally new food and he's like, yeah, I've got 30 pounds of Arby's now. Crazy.
Jeez.
Well, 13 minutes over. You get a little extra today.
Yep.
Don't fall into scams. Have a good week. We'll catch you next episode. This has been your weekly insult. Not so weekly anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
This will be whatever we feel like it.
Yeah.
Dude, it kind of seems like everybody in the podcast realm that was doing it with us in the beginning is all kind of hiatusing, too.
Yeah.
It's hard to come up with that stuff.
Meredith Works hasn't done anything well. Haze Masters.